Regarding Oracle Jim, listen to the audio that went viral over the weekend, in which Larry Ellison explains what dinner with Jensen Huang, Elon Musk, and himself sounds like. I'm certain that you listened to Jensen Huang, since I've seen the stock price and know that I had dinner with Elon in Palo Alto. Jensen Huang, Elon Musk, and I went out to dinner. Elon and I were pleading with Jensen for GPUs during the dinner, which I would characterize as Oracle. Please take our money. Please take our money. In addition, I had dinner. Please take more of our money. You're taking too little. Would you kindly take more of our money? Everything went smoothly. It was successful. I suppose that's how you maintain 90% margins, Jim. Yes, three multi-billionaires entering a pub. It's a very different situation from where we were 2 weeks ago, but it's a lot like what Jensen Huang discussed at Goldman, which is that it's a really emotional process. David, trying to obtain something that costs $440,000 has always been a really emotional procedure. Jim, it's an excellent query. I suppose, Jim, the idea that emotion is a component of the entire process is a little unusual in the history of technology. However, Ellison addressed the competition that we frequently discuss in terms of having access to the necessary chips, the GPUs, such as the most recent version, to run these massive models that must continuously consume enormous amounts of data. This will advance generative AI until the day comes when we can all see applications that are truly profitable for those who spend hundreds of billions of dollars to run those models, not just for enterprises. I, however, would say, not just yet. You have to stick with the big guns, the hyperscalers, which is, in my opinion, entirely accurate. During the most recent conference call, Elon Musk made some negative remarks regarding Jensen. He made some kind remarks, but you really need to get Jensen right, and I'm not sure if Musk is doing that now. Even though it was down roughly 30 points from his peak, forming stock in the S&P 500 year-to-date. What took place to revive this dormant stock? Regarding the CEO Jensen Huang and the unanswered questions surrounding the company's supercomputer chip Blackwell, which has been the subject of conjecture regarding poor performance, lost chances, and, less realistically, inquiries concerning the true demand for AI hardware in a market rife with conjecture and fabrication. Jensen made the decision to make amends, first at his fireside discussion with David Solomon, CEO of Goldman Sachs, during the company's Communicopia Plus Tech conference. We aren't telling the story correctly, according to the man I nicknamed Da Vinci because he is a contemporary Renaissance man. In addition to being at the forefront of the generative AI movement, Nvidia is also the industry leader in accelerated computing, where its GPUs will eventually replace nearly all of the older, slower chips. He then said something that sent the stock skyrocketing for days, which led to two themes. Nvidia's detractors and skeptics have been claiming that the company's groundbreaking Blackwell chip is too difficult to produce and could not be able to be mass-produced before 2024. False. Here's what Jensen had to say. Blackwell is ramping and in full production right now. We'll begin scaling it in Q4 into the following year after shipping in Q4. Everyone wants to be the first since there is such a high demand for it. Since everyone aspires to be the best, the intensity is truly remarkable. Talk about comforting phrases, and what do you know? These statements were much needed in the bull market for AI semiconductors. The next thing you know, Nvidia's stock is skyrocketing, along with those of its fellow travelers like Broadcom, which I just highlighted, after the company published a highly criticized quarter and was completely destroyed. You know that Broadcom, the company that seemed to be loathed, but is now turning from an ugly duck into a beautiful but angry swan, traded above where it was sitting before the aforementioned quarter, which I told you was good anyhow? Ever notice how furious swans can get? We live in a very sentimental market, you see. It is risky to draw any conclusions too quickly given the movements in stocks like Nvidia, Broadcom, or even JP Morgan. By the way, the visceral bullish activity in the alternative energy stocks, possibly connected to a position on carbon emissions taken by Vice President Harris at the debate last night. When the Fed starts lowering rates, many businesses that are doing all right will perform much better. It's true that stocks perform better when interest rates are lowered. In summary, I advocate for simplicity. Rate reductions are beneficial. Small rate reductions are excellent since they prevent panic and provide you a lot more rate reductions in the future. I regretfully come to the conclusion that those who were disappointed by the prospect of only one 25 basis point rate drop next week are completely uninformed. Greetings from Money Movers again. Artificial intelligence in healthcare. The drug discovery industry has been beset by inefficiencies and sluggish development times, with a clinical trial failure rate of 80 to 90% and new medication development taking 10 to 15 years. With the help of Nvidia, Sandbox AQ hopes to significantly reduce the amount of time needed to develop new drugs to cure conditions including cancer, Parkinson's, and Alzheimer's. Jim Breyer, the founder and CEO of Breer Capital, and Jack Hitt, the CEO of Sandbox AQ, are joining us in honor of World Alzheimer's Month. Jim is one of Sandbox AQ's major backers and venture investors. It's wonderful to see you again, gentlemen. Sarah, welcome. Nice to see you. Jack, it's always enjoyable. You as well. So, Jack, in honor of World Alzheimer's Awareness Month, are you utilizing your quantum and artificial intelligence technologies to aid in the treatment of this illness that affects so many Americans? If yes, how? Jack, as you mentioned in the introduction, it takes more than 10 years to bring a medicine to the clinic, and 90% of them fail. To ensure that we could employ those chips in a novel way, we teamed up with Nvidia. Large language models are familiar to people and viewers of this show, and they work well for some uses, such marketing copy and customer service. Here, however, we are discussing large quantitative models, LQM, a novel form of artificial intelligence. To ensure that we can use these NVIDIA chips in a way that enables us to determine the optimal medication to take to the clinic, we collaborate closely with the NVIDIA team, particularly the NVDA team. In particular, we collaborated with UCSF on Alzheimer's, and Stanford's Per was awarded the Nobel Prize. Working with his lab, we were able to identify important chemicals in less than 18 months, with a substantially higher success rate. Instead of taking 10 years, we went to the clinic in the following 6 months. Being a part of this and setting the standard for Sandbox AQ globally at the moment is really exciting. It's nice to have Jim Breyer join us. Jim. Yes, Sarah. He is the top investor in the field of healthcare, AI, and quantum, in my opinion, and I'm sure you agree. Sarah. Jim, I always listen to what you have to say and what excites you. Excellent judgments on certain even publicly traded firms, such as Nvidia, which you emphasized at a crucial juncture. But I'm curious as to why you're so thrilled. I'm aware that you've discussed Jack and his work at Sandbox, this AI quantum merger, and whether or not anyone else is engaging in similar activities. Jim? Hello, Sarah. No, nobody else is doing this. I would add Oracle, which we have previously discussed, Dell, and a few more industry giants like Salesforce, to the list of mega-cap corporations, or the Magnificent Seven. There are numerous internal initiatives where they are using their AI knowledge to combat the broad biosciences vertical. From the perspective of a portfolio firm, I have completed roughly 16 spinouts of significant businesses, or more significantly, significant hospitals in certain situations. We're at Harvard today, along with Harvard Medical School, Mass General Brigham, Dell, MD Anderson, UCSF, Stanford, and MIT. Two innovative MIT firms that are coming closer to this amazing intersection where computation and artificial intelligence may have a significant impact. In light of Larry Ellison and all the fantastic announcements that Oracle has made in the past few weeks, I am really optimistic, not only about the Magnificent Seven. Larry Ellison is undoubtedly a genius who devotes 75% of his time to AI and the intersection of AI with the medical and biological sciences. As a venture capitalist, I pay attention when Larry Ellison is so committed to these areas. Sarah, Jim, that's a heartfelt endorsement from you. However, when considering some of the colleges and use cases you're working on, how close are we to real-world applications, particularly in the life sciences? Jim, first, Sarah, we were able to scale our work on these GPUs because to our collaboration with Nvidia. SATAP and UCSF are two examples. We collaborate with big pharmaceutical firms, spinouts,